Hey guys, Dustin Williams here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about four things that you can do that's going to help improve your focus, your ability to concentrate, and your memory. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're having a conversation with somebody and like 30, 60 seconds passes by and then you realize all of a sudden you didn't hear anything that they said? It was like it was in one ear and out the other, you weren't paying attention. I know this has definitely happened to me. If you ask my wife, it happens all the time, but I think she probably exaggerates just a little bit. I was actually officially diagnosed with ADHD around 6 years ago. Personally, I think that I've had it a lot longer than that. It just took till about 6 years ago before I made my first visit to the doctor, talked to them about it, and tried to figure out what's going on. Why can I not pay attention? Why am I always constantly distracted? I can't focus on topics that even I really enjoy, like for more than 10, 15 minutes at a time, and then my mind starts wandering off somewhere else. Having issues trying to read. You know, it's like I'll sit down and I'll read and I'll never get more than 5, 10 pages through. And then all of a sudden I've went through a page or two and realized that I haven't been paying attention even though I've been reading it. So it's just like mindless reading, not really being able to pay attention. And I'm thinking about the most random things that don't have anything to do with what I'm trying to focus on. The inability to focus long-term and keep good memory and concentrate. These are really, really common things that people go through. When we're talking about these things, there are multiple factors that come into play. All right, there's different things that can affect your ability to focus and concentrate, but I want to talk specifically about four things today. I want to talk about four things that have had a big impact on me personally and have also had a big impact on multiple of clients that I have worked with. Now, whenever it comes to the fourth topic that I'm going to talk about in this video, I really think it's going to surprise you. So make sure that you stick around to the end of the video to hear the fourth thing that can really help have an impact on your memory and your focus and concentration. I really think that it's going to surprise you. So let's dive right into it. The first thing, number one, tyrosine and phenylalanine. You're probably like, what is that? Tyrosine, phenylalanine, what are these things? All right, they sound more complex than what they really are. All right, these two things are just amino acids. And if you don't know what an amino acid is, amino acids are what makes up protein. So you got protein, if you break the protein down, you get amino acids. Tyrosine and phenylalanine are two very specific amino acids that we get from our protein. Now, that being said, talking about these two, they play directly into the production of what is called dopamine. I know some of you are probably familiar with what dopamine are, maybe some of you aren't, but dopamine, it's a neurotransmitter, and it plays a huge role in all the things we're talking about in this video. So memory, motivation, focus, concentration. Dopamine is really important to being able to do these things. Tyrosine and phenylalanine, these two amino acids that we get from food, are very important in the production and creation of dopamine. Here's the main thing about tyrosine. If you don't have enough tyrosine in your body, here's where phenylalanine comes in. Phenylalanine can be converted inside the body into tyrosine. So that's why phenylalanine is also important in combination with tyrosine. So tyrosine is the main amino acid that plays into creating dopamine so that you can focus and concentrate better. But if you don't have enough tyrosine and you do have enough phenylalanine, then the phenylalanine can be turned into tyrosine to help create dopamine. Hopefully all that makes sense. I know that can potentially be a lot of information to take in. One reason why you may not have enough tyrosine or phenylalanine is maybe you don't eat enough protein. You may need more protein in your diet in general. You may just not be getting enough protein that contains these two amino acids in your diet that's going to help you create more dopamine. So the first thing that I would do is check and see, are you getting enough protein in your diet? Now, in order to get more of these amino acids in your diet, the big ones are gonna be coming from cheese, from dairy and eggs, also from pretty much any type of meat. So we're talking chicken, turkey, also seafood and fish. All of these things are gonna be really good at containing tyrosine and phenylalanine in them. Now, I realize that there are quite a few people that are going vegetarian and vegan now. So for those of you that are on this route and that you don't eat meat, some of your better sources are gonna be soy, beans and lentils, peanuts, and oats. Gonna be really good sources of these proteins. And then of course, on top of everything else outside of food, you can also supplement with either one of these amino acids. They're really cheap, they're really easy to pick up. You can grab either one of these amino acids and supplement with them. If you want my recommendation on picking up one of these amino acids, I'll have a link in the description below that'll take you directly to the ones that I would recommend if you choose you want to supplement with one of these two things. All right, so we've got these two amino acids, tyrosine, phenylalanine, we got that out of the way. So let's get to number two. The second thing, very important in focus, and concentration is going to be vitamin B6. B6, it has a lot of different roles in the body, but we're gonna talk about its specific role in helping these issues. So earlier, we talked about dopamine and how important dopamine is to being able to do and focus and pay more attention. Well, when we're taking tyrosine that we talked about earlier, when you wanna take tyrosine and you wanna get it converted into dopamine, vitamin B6 is one of the more important vitamins that plays a big role in this. So let's say you have plenty of the amino acids, you get plenty of protein in your diet, but you're still having some issues, you may not have enough vitamin B6 in your diet. And if you don't have enough vitamin B6, then those amino acids never get converted to dopamine. You don't have enough dopamine, you're gonna have the issues with being able to focus and concentrate. The other thing about B6 that it can be pretty important is the more stress that you're under. So if you are under a lot of stress internally, if you have any stress externally, like at work or with relationships, there's a lot of stress going on in your body, B6 kind of gets eaten up more. So if you have a lot of stress that's going on, there's a good possibility that you may have a little bit higher need for B6 than somebody that's not under as much stress. Another reason that you may end up needing a little bit more B6. There's a couple different ways to get more B6 in your diet. Of course, the first one I'm gonna talk about is food. Multiple good sources that you can get B6 in your diet. So we've got dairy, we got eggs, we got liver, we've got bananas, we've got carrots, and pretty much any type of meat. These are gonna be really good sources of vitamin B6 from your food. So the first thing that you may wanna do is make sure that you're incorporating some of these things in your diet to make sure that you are getting adequate amounts of vitamin B6. From there, of course, you can supplement with vitamin B6 as well. Now here's the thing about supplementing with vitamin B6. You can get too much of it. A lot of times people think, oh, vitamins and minerals, I can have as much as I want, they're good for me, no problem. Not exactly true. Vitamin B6 is one of those. Too much vitamin B6 can definitely be a bad thing. Now, that being said, you're very, very unlikely to get too much vitamin B6 from food. You really only need to be concerned about getting too much vitamin B6 if you're supplementing with it. My personal recommendation, the recommendations that I make to my clients, is that you do anywhere between 5 to 10 milligrams of vitamin B6 per day is typically a good dose, maybe upwards of even 20 milligrams per day. Now the tolerable upper limit that has been set is actually at 100 milligrams per day. I personally do not recommend that anybody take that much vitamin B6. Now, if you go talk to your doctor and the doctor tells you to do something different, that's a whole different situation. But if you haven't directly spoken with your doctor to find out that you have a higher need for B6 at that level, I would stick more to the 5 to 10 milligram range per day, maybe upwards of 20 milligrams if you're gonna supplement with vitamin B6 so that you can avoid any of the potential negative side effects. And with vitamin B6, I'm gonna put a link in the description to the one that I would recommend. Not all vitamin B6, not all supplements of any type are created equal, so it's very, very important that you're avoiding any additives and fillers and excipients if this is stuff you're gonna put in your body and get a good quality vitamin B6 supplement. So I'll put a link to the one that I recommend in the description. All right, let's go on to number 3. All right, the third thing that's gonna help you with this, alpha GPC. All right, this one has done really well for me. Here's the thing about alpha GPC, which I'll explain what it is in just a second. Alpha GPC, whenever we get our dopamine levels higher, so we're getting enough tyrosine, enough phenylalanine, enough protein, we got enough B6 in our system, whenever they start to get higher, the need for what's called acetylcholine kicks in. And if you don't have enough acetylcholine, it may be harder to utilize the dopamine that you have. Alpha GPC helps boost your acetylcholine. One of many things, but alpha GPC has been really, really good. It's been shown to increase your acetylcholine by up to 10 times more than just the choline that you may get from food. And for those of you that want to know, alpha GPC stands for
glycerol phosphorylcholine.
Not an easy word to say, so we'll just stick with the alpha GPC. That being said, whenever we talk about supplementing with alpha GPC, because it's a form of choline, choline is a natural recurring substance that's in food. So you want to make sure that you're also getting enough choline from your food. Some of your best sources are going to be liver and egg yolk.
Say what?
Not a huge liver fan, lots of benefits to it. I struggle on that one. I get most of mine from my egg yolks. I eat a couple of eggs a day. Now, if you're not gonna eat liver or egg yolk, you can also do cruciferous vegetables, and nuts are another good source of choline. So wanna make sure that we get enough choline in the diet, and then also can supplement with alpha GPC. Typically, my recommendation is around 300 milligrams at a time whenever you take the alpha GPC, and you could potentially take this a couple of times a day. Now, this is just me personally. What I have seen, I typically just take 300 milligrams of alpha GPC just one time per day, and I see really good results out of it. I find that I don't get as good if I was to take 600, so like once in the morning and once later in the day. It doesn't work quite as well for me. I like doing 300 milligrams one time per day, but you can potentially take more if you find that you need it. Also, I tend to cycle my alpha GPC a little bit. I don't want to not be able to utilize it as well. So when I don't need to be able to have the focus and the energy and the ability to concentrate as much. So say like on a weekend, if I'm not doing any work-related stuff and I'm just hanging out with family or friends, I won't take the alpha GPC on those days so that I can kind of reserve it and make sure that it's working optimally during the week whenever I need it the most. And if you have liked the content so far, we've got one more thing to go over, but if you've liked the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you would smash that like button. Really would appreciate that. It means a lot to me and it help out the social media algorithms for me as well. But moving on to the fourth and final thing that I would focus on, and this is the one that I said that I really thought would surprise a lot of people, that most people are not aware that this actually is important, and that is sunlight, but not sunlight in general, sunlight in the eyes. We have to get sunlight directly into the eyes. This is very, very important in the process of creating dopamine. Sunlight has to get into our retinas from being outside. So if you are outside not very much at all, that could be a problem. Or if you are outside, but you're constantly wearing sunglasses and you're blocking that UV light from being able to get into the retinas, that can also affect your ability to create more dopamine. So I do have a question, just because I'm curious. How many of you guys find that either you're not outside very much, or every time you're outside, you always have a pair of sunglasses on? I'm just kind of curious. If you would comment down below and let me know if you're one of those people, just because I'm curious how many of you guys are not ever letting any sunlight into your eyes. I used to be that person. If I was outside, I always had sunglasses on. So no judgment here, just curious. And that's it, guys. That is my 4 main things that I would focus on. Do these 4 things. You can do one of them. You can do all 4 of them if you potentially need them. They will all have a good impact on helping you be able to focus and concentrate and better memory. Try these things out. Let me know how they work for you. I'm really interested. I love feedback from anybody to let me know how these things are kind of affecting them. And again, one more time, if you liked this video, smash that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any more of my videos that I'm coming out with. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.